Hi there. I thought I would break down for people how the courts are working in the COVID era. Things have changed drastically in courts since March of 2020, where we used to go to court and sit and wait our turn in family law regular chambers, where we would go to court and argue in special chambers, where we would make appearances on the EPO list, where we would make appearances for EPO hearings, oral hearings, for any type of parenting hearing requiring oral evidence or trials. How is the court handling all of this? And the other thing I should deal with is the paperwork side. So 9 months of working with the Alberta system. We are down to now where filing is now to be done strictly by email instead of faxing it in or taking it in person. This has had its issues. They tell us they've hired more clerks, but COVID has also appeared amongst the clerks, and that has reduced their numbers. Before the Christmas break, they were still dealing with the beginning of November, 6 weeks behind, which, if it's an ordinary thing, it's not a big deal. But when it's something that you need done urgently and you send it off to a pile of emails that may or may not get looked at. I did a 4-day hearing in November, end of November, and the justice had to ask me to provide all of the pleadings, all of the paperwork that had been filed with the court, because he didn't have it for the hearing. That's really saying something, that you've got a multi-day hearing where we are there in our robes arguing a case, and the clerks haven't been able to get the justice the actual paper file or even an electronic one. Thankfully, it's not a big deal. All of my files are I don't save paper files. All of my files are in a secure electronic storage, so it's not a big deal for me to have my paralegal send the justice the file. But the fact that it even needed to be done is a reflection on what's happening with the courts. So the other thing the family courts have done in Alberta is they've introduced an extra step, and while this extra step is sort of a triage to decide where cases should go, see what can be settled and what doesn't need to be sent further, is a good idea. It also adds an extra step. It adds extra cost for clients, because we have to go to docket before we can go any further. From docket, you could be sent to regular chambers, which is a 10 to 15 minute quick and dirty hearing with lots of other lawyers and clients around. That's done by video. The docket's done by video as well. And it's for fast and relatively simple decisions, and then off it goes. If you are sent to early intervention case conference, which is the court's attempt to divert families into more of a mediation type of setting with a judge to try and solve some of the issues, or maybe even all of them, in a lower conflict way. Those are done by video now as well, and continue to be set. Then you could be diverted over to special chambers. Now, special chambers can be an hour, they can be half a day, they can be a full day. This requires a lot of legal paperwork. You're going to need applications and affidavits, and a concise letter, which is essentially a legal brief, update affidavits, and you are there with lawyers and the, both parties and the justice, and the justice will make decisions there. That's not a mediation or a discussion. And you might also be sent off to an oral hearing. EPOs are, the initial hearings are all done by video now, but an oral hearing requiring witnesses on the stand, we're putting our robes on, we are physically in court, as well as for trials, we are physically in court and required to be in the courthouse. So that is how they are handling court actions during the era of COVID in Alberta. This is as of January 2021, and I don't see much change coming in the near future, certainly not as long as we are in public health warnings and required to wear masks and so on. It is a very different thing for me to stand in my robes wearing a mask for 4 days in a row, long days, and present my case through a mask. It makes it a challenge to question witnesses, and it's a new era. There's some positives to it, there's some negatives to it, but we are moving through, and family law cases still continue to be moving through the courts. Take care.